Take a look at the most recent Artemis launch. Both the outer rocket boosters attached to the side of the SLS and the main engines are burning at 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit. At this temperature, steel doesn't melt, it boils. So why isn't the rocket boiling?
Good roll pitch.
Before we get to that, I think it'd be helpful if we understood how these rockets worked in the first place. At its core, a rocket engine mixes fuel and oxidizer in a combustion chamber to create an immensely hot, high-pressure gas. This gas is then squeezed through the narrow throat of the engine bell to increase its speed. Once the gas forces its way through that choke point, it has hit the speed of sound. As the bell widens, the gas rapidly expands and accelerates. Blasting that gas downwards generates a massive amount of force. This is the RS-25. It was used on NASA's 135 space shuttle missions, and it is now used by the Artemis program. Take a look at this diagram. The RS-25 is a liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen staged combustion engine. Because hydrogen and oxygen are naturally in a gas state, they take up way too much volume. To fix this, they're supercooled into cryogenic liquids. This drastically increases their density and allows the rocket to carry the millions of pounds of propellant it needs to reach orbit. Once those liquids reach the engine, the staged combustion cycle begins. This means it operates in a completely closed loop. It burns a small fraction of its fuel in preburners. Those preburners spin turbopumps that push the fuel through the engine. The exhaust from the preburners is then directed into the main chamber to finish burning. Rocket scientists measure the efficiency of a rocket using specific impulse, which is directly proportional to the exhaust velocity. Let's look at the ideal rocket equation for exhaust velocity. In this equation, there are two main variables to pay attention to: Tc, the combustion temperature, and m, the molar mass of the exhaust. We can see that by increasing the combustion temperature and decreasing the molar mass, the speed will increase. This is where our choice of fuel matters. We measure a fuel's energy density using its lower heating value, or LHV. This is how much raw thermal power you get per kilogram of fuel. Because the hydrogen packs so much energy per kilogram, the rocket can carry significantly less weight to get to orbit. But having a lower heating value this high can also be a problem. If we mix the oxygen and hydrogen perfectly with 100% combustion, that's when the heat is the highest. This is called the stoichiometric ratio. To lower the temperature, the RS-25 engine runs fuel-rich. This means it's pumping in excess unburned hydrogen as a thermal layer and significantly lowers the peak temperature. But even with that, the engine still operates well over 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So how will the metal survive? The answer is the fuel itself. Before the cryogenic liquid hydrogen is burned, it's pumped through over 1,000 tiny microchannels milled directly into the walls of the combustion chamber and nozzle. This is regenerative cooling. The liquid hydrogen acts as a massive heat exchanger and absorbs extreme amounts of thermal energy, radiating through the combustion. Simultaneously, this process preheats the hydrogen fuel right before it enters the injectors, increasing the engine's overall efficiency. This temperature gradient is insane. If you were to touch the outside of this rocket engine while it was running, your hand would freeze immediately. But if you were to put your hand inside, it would vaporize. But these are the exact conditions needed to keep the rocket from melting. Thanks for watching.